Hi, everybody. This is Tom with Culture Chap. So, today I want to talk to you about body limitations, your own limitations with the stage. Now, this is for everybody. I There's too many things to mention here, but let's just start out with several different scenarios and what the problems can be. So, maybe you have to do an entrance as an actor, and to get there, you have to kind of go through a labyrinth of hallways to get on stage. And when you look through this beginning of this labyrinth, you can see one or two audience members that can see you, but you can't see the actors and the actions they're doing on the stage. That is your cue, all right? Or perhaps their actions on the stage you can't see, but there's a sound cue. But it's a very quiet scene and you can't quite hear it. If there's anything behind you making noise, you don't hear it at all. And you can't just say, hey, when I get here waiting for my cue, everyone behind me, whether you're picking up a prop or having some sort of emergency or talking to the ASM, anything can happen behind you. Someone could trip. The ASM could be talking with the SM in the booth about some sort of issue. Anything can happen behind you. So you can't always guarantee that the people behind you will be quiet. And even if they are quiet, the actors on the stage may go quieter or be off with their very tender scene. So you need something like a cue light. Now, it's just a little light that goes on when you're supposed to enter. And that is what the stage manager who's watching everything does when they know it's time for you to enter. Or you need to have some sort of a buddy system where someone alerts you to when to go on. This has happened a lot. It happens with everyone, but it happens with older actors, especially, who can't quite see their cue movement when the actors are in a certain area. Because if you're looking through this and you have a very thin sliver of when to enter, if those actors are off your sight line, or if they're too quiet, you enter early, you enter late, you need a cue light, or you need somebody else. Now, if it's a loud scene and it's just because your hearing is not so perfect or your eyesight is not so perfect, just get another actor or a stagehand to go, I hear the cue, go on now. Now, why this isn't happening in a lot of theaters, why you're expecting older actors or any actors just to perform miracles, I don't know, but it's happening a lot. Now, the next thing is anyone who has any sort of physical problem or the show is too taxing. This can be anyone, but again, older people, kids. When you have a child in a show, the attention span isn't always quite there, and they get distracted or they get shoved behind people in other costumes entering in front of them. You need a child wrangler to say, now it's time to go on. Here we go. Your cue's now, go. Or you need an older actor to say, now it's our cue. Let's go together, the buddy system. Or if you have an older actor who, for some reason, has volunteered for a scene that is too taxing on their body, maybe there's a lot of kneeling, maybe there's a lot of jumping, maybe there's a lot of something, and you as the director or the artistic director has decided they can do anything. They said they can do anything, but they said they could do anything, or this stunt or this repeated kneeling or repeated action when they were in rehearsal when it wasn't so intense. But night after night, and with matinees, it's catching up with them. 8 performances a week, it's catching up with them. So you need a plan B or a plan C. You could be just a regular person and it's just taxing on your body, on your knees. It's always a knee thing too, isn't it? It's always the kneeling in a scene repeatedly or jumping around that can get anyone caught off guard. Also, if you are jumping around, make sure you tell the people that you're doing this action, that do your costumes, so your shoes have grip. Okay? Now, you think it's their responsibility to know that you're doing that when maybe the information never came to them. Or maybe where you are in the stage is a slicker area than other parts of the stage. And who would know that besides you, who has run into that limitation? All right, we all have limitations we didn't foresee even the healthiest of us. Now, there are other people on stage that are performing or helping out with the show. If you have a stagehand on stage who can't see or doesn't know the right cue word, you need to speak up. You need to say that. Whether you are the choreographer, the director, the music director, another actor who's like, I'm not sure they know that this word means do that. No one ever explained that to that theater tech, that stagehand, that backstage person who's just coming on to give you an item or hand off a prop in the dark, that kind of thing. That can get sticky every time. This is the cue. The word cut is the cue. By the time I say the word spatula, the spatula should be in my hand. This is the sequence we need to be. Did you know that, stagehand? Just help out. And we forget that often people entering in the dark, whether it's a stagehand, a musician, a dancer, so forth, we don't all have the same level of eyesight. You could have very healthy eyesight, but for some reason the backstage is extra well lit so it can be seen on stage, like we have a well lit hallway. So that's sort of extra light, not just hallway light, that's extra light to reach out onto the stage to go, that's a lit hallway and the rest of the stage is dark. Well, transitioning your eyes, it's different from everyone, all right? It just depends on who you are. If you find a musician and so forth who really relies on their eyes immediately, or maybe you're an actor and you know it's going to mess your eyes up and you can adjust immediately. You know where you're going. But a musician or a backstage person who needs to do something exacting that's very get to this right area that's small through this hole, hand off this piece to the right person. There's a hand reaching out in the dark. I can't quite see it. Just fix these things. Now, if your director or your actor or your musician hasn't spoken up, then you as the artistic director need to go, that could go wrong easily. I know it's a small thing, but trust me, I've been there. Some of these things that seem like small details can go wrong very quickly. I want to address why we need to do these entrances in the dark, where the lights go up and suddenly the people are there. Really? How about going to half? Just taking your lights down and bouncing them up to half and having your people enter as the characters, as the musicians, as the whatever, and just acknowledge that this is a performance and these are performers. Bring the lights up to half or a quarter so that it's twilight-ish and they can get to their spot, their mark, their podium, their music stand, their piano, their cello, in the right time without causing anything to go wrong. Because as much as you think it won't, oftentimes it does. Even if the show is going perfectly and you decide, I am doing these amazing transitions and the lights aren't really going out and I can bring the lights to half for a transition and then bouncing them back up with our different style light for the new scene. But then at bowing time, at the end, you go blackout and you expect everyone to be on stage in the dark. Don't do that. Just have them enter with your regular lights and don't take chances that anyone's going to crash into anything in the dark. We don't need darkness. We know it's a play. We know it's an opera. We know it's a ballet. We know what's up. The audience will forgive you, okay? Super blackouts are done way too much. And I don't think they really do what you think they're doing. So don't take any chances. If you're an older actor, if you have slight hearing, if the scene is too quiet, all these things that could possibly go wrong that you think, oh, it never will. It might. And you can't let that happen. Just take control of that kind of thing. Also, if there are stunts in strange costumes, I'm thinking mostly of a show where the actress was pulled aloft. The idea was that she was blowing up. If you've seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory from the 70s, you know, when Violet's turning violent and she's getting as big as a blueberry, that was sort of the concept. She kept gaining weight, but it was actually air in the play. So her costume kept getting bigger, a series of costumes, and by the end, she would float on stage. But the way the show had been constructed the first time, the rigging just sort of floated her in an interior harness in the costume, and it just went back and forth. Whereas the new theater, she was floating all around, all this kind of thing. It was very interesting, but it made for the interior of the harness and the costume not congealing to make a solid unit. So that her body was kind of thrown around a lot more than usual in this new iteration of this play. And it caused major back problems, which the actress was deciding that she was too much of a diva, that maybe she wasn't taking care of herself, and that it was her fault that she was getting these back problems, never quite associating that the costume and the harness inside the costume and the rigging was doing this to her. All right? I could say that's an easy mistake, but when things are happening to you and you're not quite sure, examine everything. You are the performer. It is your place to take care of your body. It is your place to speak up and go, hey, I'm not a diva, but this seems like a problem. The repeating of the issue with my body, I don't think is my own personal life. I think it's what's happening on stage. Speak up. I also was doing a TV series, a science fiction TV series. And in the series, there was an episode where something happened magically, and these 16-year-olds all turned into 80-year-olds. And I was just an extra, but I could see, and since the people that hired me knew I was a director, they often asked, like, what do you think is happening? I'm like, well, why aren't you talking to the actors? And again, the actors were a little too shy to say, this is causing an issue. The shyness of what the issue was very simple. Too many takes. They ran up and down the stairs like 16-year-olds in the first couple of scenes, and after they changed into 80-year-olds, they ran up and down the stairs like 16-year-olds in these 80-year-old bodies. And it was taking a massive toll on the people that were the appropriate age. You have to speak up. You have to speak up. I know you feel like you can't. I know some of you, like musicians, you hardly ever speak to us. I know you're in your own little world and you're concentrating and stuff, but if there's issues getting to your if there's issues with the lighting where you're playing your instruments or getting to your instruments in the dark, please speak up. We don't know what's going on for your part of the performance. If there are issues when you, the audience, if you're part of a theater or an opera, and you can see like, oh, he barely got to his chair. Oh, he barely got to this. Speak up. I know you think that they know what's going on, but maybe they don't. Also, we can't catch everything, all right? When you see something as an administrative person and so forth, that's like, I've seen this show twice. And whenever the lights go down and they come in, somebody clearly has tripped over that rug, and now it's like in a crumple. That's bad. Speak up. I don't know if you know this is an issue, but this is happening. Everybody is busy. Everybody is busy, and it may not have been seen. And there's a number of things like that, and the lists are too long to mention. So think about those things. Speak up as a performer, as a musician, as a dancer. Speak up as a person who's part of your theater, who is seeing the show, being supportive at dress rehearsal. That also means speaking up about things that you think can go wrong, okay? I don't think their shoes have enough traction. They slipped. Did you see that? Oh, you didn't? Have a check. Maybe they're too proud to mention it. Maybe this is an isolated incident. That's part of being part of your theater and watching dress rehearsals and performances, you know? Just drop it in. Not a big serious thing. This occurred to me. What do you think? Okay, it's better to be safe. Better safe than sorry. We don't want to lose any performers, any musicians, anybody because of accidents or missed entrances or anything that could have been prevented from you having a stellar show. All right, that's enough for today. Please like and subscribe. I hope your holiday shows are selling incredibly well, and we will talk again in the new year. Okay, thanks. Bye.